If you think things are bad now, give it a minute. Things are about to get so very much worse. And not just for Americans, not just for Iran or Israel, but for the entire world. I mean, things are about to get extremely dark and extremely hard. And it's going to be widespread, planetary. That's what we're watching begin right now. This war that we're seeing, this mess over there, this is just the beginning, people. This is going to be a forever war. There's not going to be any kind of resolution to this. No, there's not going to be a victor on any side. It just don't seem to be getting any better or coming to any kind of conclusion. And I don't think that we're going to see that. I don't think we're going to see the end of this conflict and see some sort of happy ending. To me, that's off the table. That's not a possibility. I mean, we can see what's happening right now. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. This is a forever war. It's been being fought for like thousands of years over there. Thousands of years. We're not going to end it with any kind of diplomatic, treaty or negotiation or compromise. That's just not going to happen. This war is fought over religion, belief structures, and no matter how much we think we are in control of things, we are never going to rip these people, this billion-plus population of people, we're not going to rip them away from their faith. That's just an impossibility. It's naive to think otherwise. I mean, we're not going to be able to get them to submit and turn their back on their God and submit to the Western God, a God they don't even acknowledge or recognize. That is never going to happen. And that is really what this war is over. These people will die for this cause. They will go to their grave defending, what they feel is the true faith. They feel that they are being guided by the one true God. That is what they think. And there is no way that we're going to change that. This belief structure, man, it's been ingrained in these people since the time they were born. They've been taught this in their schools, reared up. Their faith instructs them to annihilate the West. That's us. Anybody from a Western country, a Christian foundational country, is their mortal enemy, and they've been instructed by their faith, by their God, to wipe us off the map, eliminate us, annihilate everything about the West. And that's what we're facing. That is exactly what we're facing. Pete Hegseth said the other day that we will stay in this war for as long and go as far as we need to eliminate the threat. And, that means we'll be in this war forever because the threat is an inherent belief system in these people. You're not going to eliminate that. You can eliminate their leader. You can blow up their military complexes and their palaces and, eliminate all their military high-level officials, sure. But you're not going to be able to eliminate the belief system, their faith system. And that is the inherent threat. So in order to eliminate that threat, that means boots on the ground. We're going to have to go in there and invade this, not just Iran, but all these Middle Eastern countries, all these Islamic countries. And what? Annihilate and exterminate, 60% of their population. That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. This is going to be an ongoing forever war. And it's right there in our headlines. It's not hard to see. We have just opened up a can of worms, and it's just not going to end well for anybody, for either side. This could very possibly be, the annihilation and destruction of our planet, man. Think about that. Think about that. That's a very real possibility just in the last few days, this is a brand new war, and we're already having like a multitude of countries already joining this fight with whatever side. I don't think that matters what side these countries are joining. It's the sheer muscle, the sheer firepower that's behind all this that is absolutely dangerous, and it's very dire for every single one of us. I don't see a good outcome coming from this. And then on top of all these Middle Eastern countries that have already joined this fight, we have NATO. NATO countries expressing their willingness and their readiness to join this conflict. Now we have Russia and China and North Korea chiming in and condemning this attack. And they're going to end up protecting their interest. And believe me, Iran is in their interest. They're going to protect that, or at least fight for their interest, their stability. It's going to be bad, people. This is every single one of these countries that are like very near to joining this. All the big superpowers around the world, they all have the ability to use nuclear weapons. They're all nuclear capable countries. And it seems like every single one of these nuclear capable countries has some sort of enemy. It seems like every one of these nuclear capable countries has some sort of enemy that they want to annihilate. They have some sort of perceived enemy that they want to exterminate off the map. And at some point, one of these actors, or even some rogue militant faction that's got access to either a dirty bomb or a nuclear bomb or something, and you know they do, one of these militant factions or even one of these superpowers is going to feel backed into a corner, and they're going to detonate one of these nuclear weapons. And that's going to be a domino effect. Every other nuclear power, and there's 9 official nuclear powers, every single one of them will take that and use it as an opportunity, as an open door to use their military might, their nuclear might, to annihilate one of their enemies. And it's just going to be, like I said, a domino effect. That's what we're facing. That's a real, very real reality that is coming down the pipeline. And I don't think that we can avert it. I mean, it's in the cards, people. I mean, just pay attention. Trump just said that he will accept, the only thing he will accept from Iran is an unconditional surrender. That it's just not going to happen. Again, when you're fighting a war that is built on the backs of religion and belief structures, and that's what they're fighting for, not any kind of economic reason or geopolitical reasons or any kind of sanctions or anything. They're fighting for their faith. There is no way they're going to surrender. There is no way out of this. There is no victory at hand. That's just not going to happen. And it's going to embroil and it's going to envelope this entire planet at some point, and we're going to be in an all-out global nuclear war. World War III, people. That is what we're seeing the beginning of. There's not another way to look at it. And it's not just going to affect over, the people over there. This isn't going to be just a regional conflict. This will spread worldwide, and it will hit us in every aspect. Economics, spiritual, physical. I mean, every way you look at this, it's going to be very destructive, dangerous, catastrophic, and very dark and dire. And that's what we're facing. I think it's time for us to maybe get ready for that. Get ready for something very severe and enormous, coming down the pipeline, and it's going to affect every single one of us in the very worst possible way. If you think that it's hard now, and millions of Americans are feeling the pinch, they're feeling some sort of economic struggle. If you think it's hard now, people, get ready, because something huge is coming, and it's not going to be positive, or it's not going to be some progressive leap forward for humanity. That's a guarantee. It's going to be a very dark and troublesome time. And it's going to be long term. This is going to be a long, drawn out, just terrible time of basic survival. That is what we'll need to focus on, not comfort and convenience. That's a thing of the past. It will be absolute basic survival. I mean, we're already seeing, the preface to that. Our economy is fucking collapsing. I mean, all around the world. Gas prices are skyrocketing right now due to this, Strait of Hormuz shut down over there. That's a big percentage of all of our usable oil, and it's going to affect everybody, this whole planet. I mean, we're already seeing the hike, but it's just starting. I mean, it takes a couple weeks to manifest. We're going to see hardship like never imagined, like never before in all of human history. I think this war will be the very, very worst war in all of human history. It's going to affect every single person on this planet, and I don't know. There's not another way to conceptualize or visualize or to even process this. That's what we're facing right now. Global annihilation, a collapse of everything that we think and that we presume as being normal or natural or human even. Here's another just indicator of where we're headed. The other day I was watching the news and I seen that all of our military commanders, our platoon leaders, they're telling all these young kids, these recruits, these soldiers that will be fighting this war, these just young, impressionable kids, they're telling them that this war is ordained by God and will usher in the second coming of Jesus Christ. That might be true. That very well might be true, but that's not the point that I'm making. The point is whether or not it's that time, it's that ordained time right now or not, they're telling these impressionable young recruits that will be putting their lives at risk to fight this war, they're telling them that this is God's war and to put aside any fear or any perseverance, any survival instincts, and fight this war at all costs, no matter what. That is a recipe for disaster. That is going to turn into, and that shows you the depth of this war and what we're about to see. And they feel the same way on the other side. And I would say even more so. These people have been being taught from birth. They have been reared and educated, hypnotized to believe that the West is their mortal enemy. Their faith instructs them to annihilate the West, which is us, Israel, Europe. So this is about to be a war that envelopes the entire planet, and it's not going to end. It's not going to end in our lifetime. We are seeing the beginnings of something far different than anything that we could ever have imagined. I mean, this is going to overshadow any of our disastrous times in history. I promise you. We're seeing, I think, the end of the human story right now. I think that's what we're seeing. I mean, like I said, it doesn't really matter what your personal belief systems is. It doesn't matter what you believe in, or if you believe in anything at all. That's not important here. That has no bearing on what we're seeing. What we're seeing happen, what's about to come down the pipeline, it does not hinge on what you personally believe. These people do believe, and that's the dangerous part. These people absolutely believe, and their devotion and allegiance to their faith, they will go to their graves fighting for this. They will absolutely die for this cause. And that's what we're facing. That's the problem. That is what is going to turn this war into an everlasting, global, catastrophic, just calamity all across the planet, and worse than we've ever seen in all of history. And that is a guarantee. That is what we're watching happen right now. I don't know any other way to process this or any other way to even visualize this. I mean, that is what we're facing. So it's time to really get ready for this, people. It's time to get ready for something very dark and long-term to come down the pipeline and be a reality. And not only that, think about everything else that's happening right alongside this war. I mean, we have our planet is just groaning and pushing back, and almost like it's in a direct response to what's going on around the world. All these record-breaking storms and weather systems and earthquakes everywhere and volcanoes waking up, erupting after centuries of being dormant. I mean, just randomly just waking up and erupting. Fault lines just erupting all across, in places that you normally don't see them, like in the Midwest. We're seeing earthquakes and not just here, all over the planet. And then, the sun seems to be just hurling these massive CMEs at us. And it's just a convergence of all these chaotic things all at once. And it's just too much. I don't think humanity can endure so much at once. I mean, it's just too much all at one time. I mean, I think that's a signal, that's a sign of we're in some kind of convergence of timelines right now. I think we're at the completion of something, and maybe everything. We might be seeing the completion of everything that existence is. We might be seeing the completion of the human paradigm. I mean, who knows? Whether it's this supernatural, spiritual event that's happening or some kind of massive global, false flag, which, that could be possible, but that would take every government to be in alignment and agreement and be cooperating to make that happen. I don't find that likely. I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you just from these documents that just were released, that's pretty evident that the people who run our world, people who make these choices, the people who govern our whole planet, they're fucking dark, man. They're twisted as hell and very sinister and not normal. So it could be some kind of elite psyop on the, false flag and the rest of us, normal humans. I guess that could be. But either way, whether this is, the time that we've all been warned about, them end days, which it does mimic it. It looks pretty damn precise to me. Either way you shake it, whether this is a psyop or this is a, convergence of spiritual warnings, whatever, any way you look at that, whatever lens you choose to look at that through, the outcome is not good. It's definitely not positive. This is definitely not some new paradigm or leap forward for man. This is definitely a very dark and destructive and catastrophic beginning of something that's coming. I mean, it's going to get so much worse than what we're all feeling right now. And it's in the cards. That's what we're seeing. I know a lot of people, they don't want to process that. They don't want to acknowledge that because, well, they just don't want to accept that. And I get it. But at some point, it's going to be impossible to ignore. I mean, either by force or by faith, you're going to be made to acknowledge what's going on. I mean, either way you put it, we are at some sort of crossroads, the beginning of the end. I think we're at the end. I really do. All I know is we, normal people, everyday average citizens, we really do. We need to be ready for something very huge and catastrophic and very long-term and dark. We need to get ready for that. I mean, what does that look like? I mean, I'm not really sure what it looks like. What does preparedness look like for something like that? It's probably different for everybody, but whatever that looks like for you, it's time to get in gear and start preparing and getting everything, ready for a long, drawn-out sequence of events that's going to thrust us into complete, utter chaos and darkness and struggle. The whole planet will be in a system and long-term just, path and sliding down some deep slope of absolute fucking chaos. And that is what we're seeing right now. I mean, look at everything else too. And we got all these emerging global control systems right now. Like we have this digital ID and this social credit scoring system and all these artificial intelligence, just control systems, these global governance systems, mass surveillance, all that taking shape at the very same time that this massive, almost biblical war is, taking shape on top of these, planetary weather, natural phenomenon that's happening. I don't know. To me, it just seems to be pointing to a very obvious conclusion, and that is the end of everything. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I know that something is coming. There's something that's just not right. There's something off right now, all throughout the world. I think it's time to get ready. So anyway, that's enough for today. I just thought I'd get on here and share my views and my opinions on what we're seeing. I hope I'm wrong, but have a great day. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that. I'm brand new. I need your help. And until next time, thanks for watching.